I am delighted that Elise Swift-Taylor, Assistant Director of Admissions and Public Relations at the Carol Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science, is here to moderate a panel of students. So I shall turn it over to you, Elise. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I just wanted to also introduce our students. So these are actually our senior leaders that are called avatars. They are with their second year at the Gatton Academy, so they'll be graduating in May. And I give them an opportunity to share where they're from. Some of them actually may be some familiar names, as they actually are from some of your counties. But just a little short piece about Gatton. I have to throw in my admission spiel a bit. We are recruiting currently for our class of 2024. I know some of your names look familiar. So I've been in contact via email. If you would like to set up a visit, or if there's opportunities for virtual or in-person options, please get in contact with me. Also put in the chat some information about our upcoming recruitment events on campus, as well as our admissions application information. So for our avatars, I'll go ahead and let Ezekiel start first. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, pretty much just say your sending school, where you're from, and we'll just pretty much go from there.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ezekiel Salama. I'm from Shelby County. My sending school is Martha Lane Collin High School.
Great, and Leah?
Hi guys, I'm from Allen County. I'm Leah, by the way. My sending school is Allen County Scottsville High School.
Right, and Donovan? I think you're still on mute.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Donovan Markham. I'm from Oldham County, and my sending school is Oldham County High School.
Right, and Apurva.
Hi, my name is Apurva Chedawati. I'm from Callaway County, and my sending school is Murray Independent.
Great. All right, so I know that we have, we're ending our session with us, so I won't take too much of your time, but I just really wanted to share the students' experiences and have them give an opportunity of their feedback as being gifted students in K through 12. So just kind of going along with the panelists, you all can kind of feel free to answer in the order that you were. What were some of the challenges that you felt at your school as being a gifted and talented student? We can start with Ezekiel.
Okay, so one of the challenges that I faced was not having a challenge, and like I wasn't like pushed to what I could have like my potential wasn't there. So I feel like Gatton kind of like transformed me in the sense that helped push me.
Okay, so I kind of feel, I agree with Ezekiel. I feel like I didn't have that much of a challenge, but I also feel like there weren't many things at my school that really catered to my interests. Like I was interested in science and math and physics and things like that, but my school mostly catered to sports and not math and science. So I think that's what a lot of Gatton kids, why we come to Gatton, because we don't have the same opportunities that we had at our high school. Like we didn't have a place where we could take hard classes that challenged us.
Personally, my challenge was a little different from the first two. It actually took me a long time before I was even recognized as a gifted student. It was about 7th grade, and I took the test like 3 times, and I finally got into the program. And so it's hard where I was from because it was pretty populous. My high school was like 1,700 kids. And so the teacher student ratio is like 24, 30. And so it was hard to like stand out against those kids. And there's pretty smart kids where I'm from. And a lot of these kids knew a lot more than me. And sometimes being gifted is not knowing more. Sometimes being gifted is the way you learn and the way you think. And so when the teachers aren't really there one-on-one and you don't get to prove to them or show them how you think or how you learn, it's hard for them to recognize that you're gifted because you're scoring the same as everybody else in your class. Even though you learn it easier, you don't have to study, there's things you do differently for me. So that was my challenge, but I mean, I think it's important the way we recognize gifted students and the way we define gifted itself.
One of the challenges that I faced just like growing up through the gifted system is I feel like there was a big emphasis on no kid left behind. So the teachers were always focusing, making sure that those that were struggling a little bit more would have more attention. However, that meant that like the ones that were gifted and would pick up on concepts quicker would not be challenged and we would not be pushed to our potential.
Well, let's talk about some of the positive experiences that you all have had with your teachers and educators as gifted students. And what were some of the things that were working for you all before your time at Gatton?
I would say for me, one of the positive things with my teachers is like being a gifted student, like I can connect with my teachers more, and having that sense of like connection helped me uh, like become a better person in a way. And I was able to talk to them more in a way that I can have a better connection with them.
Difficult question, but I also think having conversations with teachers, but adding on to what Ezekiel said, I think that especially like when I tell people about like what I'm interested in and what I want to do, some people think it's ambitious, but a lot of the times when the teachers kind of know your potential, they're really willing to encourage you in doing that. So I think like what AP said for the last question about how sometimes we weren't really focused on, I feel like that's true in some education senses, but I think like you can really break out and talk to adults and have meaningful conversations with like teachers and things like that. And then they'll just encourage you, even if they can't really help you in the classroom all that much.
A big thing for me that the gifted program actually gave to me in my county was they would recognize you, and all your teachers knew who you were and that you were gifted. And so one of the things the program did was each semester you'd have reports, and these teachers would have to write about you, how you're doing in class, what they want out of you. And it wasn't for everybody, it was just for these kids in the gifted classes they would do reports on. And they would have to offer you an independent study section or something if you were ahead. They have to offer it to you. And so part of that report is, have they gone out of their way to learn more, to take an opportunity to step out of the class and find something they find interesting. So it was important to me that like they gave me that individual attention, and they had to sit down and actually write a report. So they couldn't just overlook the fact that I needed more help or that I needed something more to keep me occupied. They physically, each teacher had to sit down each semester and write a report on me about my weaknesses and my strengths. And it really helps me improve as a student.
One of my most positive, like one of the things that I remember most from elementary school with the gifted program is that we did have a gifted enrichment class. So that teacher for the extra class, she really pushed me to learn more and to like be curious, like to want to learn, because at some point being in the classroom kind of felt stagnant. So that extra outside class where I was able to learn about things like catapults or not normal concepts that are covered helped me to continue like my independent interests.
Awesome. And is there any advice that you all would like to offer that if you could to another gifted student that would be in your same situation prior to your experience with Gatton? If there's some words of advice that you'd be able to offer to those that you're actually talking with. The chat is actually lighting up with some of your previous instructors and people that have interacted with you all. So what is some advice you would offer to another student in your same situation at that school?
I would say don't be afraid to like go out of your comfort zone, because the world, the sky's the limit essentially, and taking the next step is a key thing in finding out what you might like.
I would say don't be afraid to find something that makes you enthusiastic about what you love. So like even if your school isn't offering those opportunities, also don't be afraid to start something that you think would make you a better student or a better person. Like for the longest time, I've wanted to start a blog or a podcast just about math, just so I could talk about math. And maybe that might help other people. They come and then they can learn something from me. And I love teaching people. And it just makes me feel like a better person, and it's making me a better student, and it's feeding my enthusiasm for a subject.
For me personally, it would be talking to your teachers. I know as a student, sometimes I'd be bored out of my mind and I would sit in the back of the class and keep my head down and just couldn't wait for school to be over. But no matter what district you're from or who you are, there will always be teachers who want to see you succeed and want to give you that extra one-on-one help. And you just sit down and talk to them and say, hey, I think I need more. I think I can do better. there are so many teachers out there who are willing to actually give you more and to push you to be a better person, like Ezekiel said, and to push you to strive for bigger goals and achieve greater things. And so for me, like, not every teacher is like that, but you have to find your mentor, someone who really cares for you, and they will guide you through so many challenges, and they will help you to be a better student and a better person.
I think one of the things that helps you grow, not only as a student, but as a person, is like different experiences, being exposed to different environments. So ever since I was in about 5th grade, every summer I would go to like a different summer camp geared towards maybe like STEM or something engineering or some type of interest that I like. And that helped me meet different people, form more connections. And it showed me like how I could reach other people and not just be stuck in the same town, because I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but Murray's a pretty small town.
Pretty small, but very nice. Oh, thank you all for your time and giving me your time this Saturday. I would like to give an opportunity for anyone that has any questions. I see that we had one in the chat that says, does Gatton offer anything outside of academics for their high school students? We do. So we are a 2-year residential program, so the students actually live on the campus within our own building at WKU. They get to be involved in clubs on the WKU side of things, as well as Gatton has its own sponsored clubs and things that are with our staff members as well. Overall, it's a lot of different things that are going on for the students, whether it is academically, they are also able to expand in their interests within STEM and outside of STEM. We have students that pursue other things in foreign languages and music. And our director, Dr. Breedlove, is also on the chat. I'm not sure if she wanted to expand any further or anything there, but there are a lot of different things for us to do and for our students to do. One of the best ways to kind of find out more information is to set up a visit with us. So we can also further talk to you more about that, as well as also talk to students and parents that have other questions about Gatton. But the residential part is one of the most important keys of how Gatton is functioning, and also how our students are involved in other things outside of just what they're studying.
Elise, could we hear from the panelists what extracurriculars they are involved in?
Yeah, go ahead and share what some of the things you are involved in outside of you all being avatars too. So
For me, I'm involved in U Crew, which is at the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky. So basically, it's like an entrepreneurship program where we create a product and we go out into the farmers market and we sell our product. Then we give all of the funds that we receive and we give it to charities. Another thing is Black Achievers, which is also in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm involved in that, and I do sports. Coming into Gatton, I didn't know whether I wanted to take my sports route or my academic route, but being at Gatton, I'm able to kind of balance both as I can play in like intramural for WKU. So that's another big thing for sports. Yeah.
So I'm not sure I have as many extracurriculars as Ezekiel, but I know just for exercise, like it's important to kind of keep your mental health stable and things like that. So I try and go work out a lot with some of my friends. I know we have soccer every Friday. I know AP is going to talk about that. And then I'm trying to, like, you can start up clubs that you want. I know that Space Club hasn't really been a thing for a while, but I'm trying to get that started back up. So yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize to AP before I start, because I meant to come to that soccer Friday night. She asked me before and I completely forgot. But I mean, Gatton's a great community. Talking about clubs, there's literally a club for everything. Anything you can imagine, you can literally create your own club as long as you get a sponsor. I actually was in computer science club and philosophy club, and sometimes I'd even go to a political party club, and you could just sit there and talk politics with kids in your school. It's amazing, the community. Everybody's respectful. And as far as research goes, research is highly encouraged here at Gatton, and everybody has the opportunity to do so. My first 2 semesters, I actually decided to take a step back from STEM. And so I met with Derek, who was our research guide and our college internal affairs kind of sort of thing. Unfortunately, he actually was great. I mean, he knew all the professors, and almost so many kids had done research before me. And I actually asked him, I was like, I was looking into business or law, and he sat down and gave me like 3 names. I emailed the guy, and I started my research into fiduciary and contractual law. And that was what, for me, that was probably the most fun I've ever done in my life, academic wise, because the professor is kind of hands off. He's like, if you're interested in something, I'm here to help you. We can do research together. We can go to the libraries at U of L or UK. And so I stress research to everybody here at Gatton because I think it's crucial to having the full experience, because you can literally do anything you put your mind to. And it's really, really fun to actually have the opportunity to do something you're interested in and to have all the resources behind you.
So yeah, as I mentioned, soccer is a big part of my life. I've played soccer since I was 3. So having to give it up, I guess, in a sense, to come to Gatton was kind of heartbreaking to me. But being able to play every week and bring that back has been a good stress reliever for me. Another thing that I'm involved in that gives me a creative outlet is paint club. I'm the leader of paint club this year, and we just hang out, have a good time, and create some art. For my volunteering, sort of that route, I'm a part of Girls Who Code. So it's like another enrichment opportunity that we provide for girls in this area, to where we teach them how to code, just give them a little bit of a basis. Girls as young as 7 or 8 are there every week. And it's just a good way that I feel like that I can give back to the local community. And research. So for research, I am actually a part of the virtual reality lab here on Western's campus. And I just have an interest in shoe design, and I want to go into industrial engineering. So with that, I turned my interest of shoe design into a virtual reality experience where the user can customize their own shoes.
And would you all like to share also your residential experience with living on a college campus in high school? Because that's a pretty big step. So.
Sorry, what was the question?
Would you like to share your experience of living on a college campus in high school? With you all being part of Gatton early.
Okay, so living on a college campus is kind of different because your parents aren't there and you have more freedoms, but living, it just you take time to adjust. The first couple of weeks, then you get into your rhythm, you go to the gym, whatever, and you get into sort of a flow. I feel like Gatton has made me more responsible in a way, because I have to manage my time in a certain way so that I'm not slacking or doing anything wrong.
I personally think it is something to adjust to. My actual house is only half an hour away, so I have a lot of family here in Bowling Green and in Allen County. But I think as far as living here with a lot of college students, well, I mean, not in our building, but going to classes with them, I think that they're all really friendly. And I've made a couple of college friends, and that's nice, aside from our Gatton friends. And it's cool to just see their perspective too. But I mean, it's also a lot of responsibility. Like Ezekiel said, we have to do our own laundry. We have to make sure we get that done. We have to wash our sheets, actually take a shower. I'm just kidding. We take showers, but yeah, it's a huge thing to adjust to.
I mean, college life is great. And I bet you every kid will tell you that when you listen to them. But I mean, in all seriousness, you're going to hear every one of us say that it comes with a lot of responsibility. And it's kind of like we're on our own almost. But I mean, it's a great community, and Gatton does really, really well to make sure there's proper restrictions in place. And they help train us to go off on our own completely. I mean, a lot of us aren't even that far from our homes. I'm 2 hours away. But I mean, living here alone it's a lot of independence. You get to make your own decisions. You get to choose when you do things, how you do things. So I mean, the first semester, everybody's got to adjust and get their schedule down. And I think that's one of the best things you can gain from Gatton, is being on your own and learning how to learn by yourself without those people hovering over you and constantly telling you what to do. But I think Gatton also, we have curfew. We don't get to roam about. We don't do Greek life, which is huge. So there's a lot of good things that Gatton puts in place to make sure we're staying focused on our academics. But I mean, it's also not like they're restricting everything we do. We get to go leave whenever we want, as long as we're back before 10:30, 12 o'clock, depending on the weekends. But I think it's great. I love it. I love the community, and I love the experience. And there was a question in the chat I saw, is what was the hardest thing you had to leave when coming to Western? I would agree with AP. Soccer was huge for me. I mean, just the community you had, and you don't get to play competitive. I mean, you can join intramurals, you can join the club team, but it's not the same. It's not the same. But I think as long as you still do this thing you love, it won't matter. But I think a huge part of leaving is, your life is going to be completely different here. You have new people, new friends, and I think the lifestyle that I left was, I loved it in Oldham County. I loved it. Some kids don't like where they come from, and they love Gatton. But I mean, I love both places. I go to and from all the time. And I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to go home. We go home once a month, mandatory. So I mean, you don't miss too much, but you do have to adjust. And I think it's important that you do learn how to do that.
So I mean, I agree with all of that. The Gatton community is amazing. I think Gatton does a great job with like providing kind of a transition period, because we are still minors and we are young. So they keep us safe, but we also get the full experience. I know I have plenty of friends that they're college students and they have no idea I'm Gatton because I blend right in. But with all of that, we're allowed to join like Western clubs and all of the community. We can be a part of the community, but Gatton puts in place a lot of things that help us create good habits. Before we came here, some of us might not have had to study as much. We could get that easy A, but here you have to work for your classes. Like you have to work for the grade that you earn.
I would also say, like, coming to Gatton, I would have to give up my sports. I played 5 sports: basketball, tennis, football, track, and golf. So giving up like that many like treasured like things that I had was pretty hard. But like, as I said, going into intramurals, we actually have like our own like Gatton like basketball team. So that's fun. And you like you can connect with others and like college students. So it's pretty fun and a fun experience as well.
If I could just answer that question in the chat also, because everybody did it. I think, yeah, sports was hard to leave, but I really didn't leave the sport. I mean, I still play it sometimes on Fridays. I think it was the people more, because at my home high school, it's like there were like 5 really close friends that I had, and they were all happy that I got in, but I feel like they were all kind of we were all like, oh, it didn't happen. And then it did happen, and I came, and we're not as connected anymore because we don't see each other every day. But I mean, I only live half an hour away, so I know it's different for a lot of other people who don't get to see their friends as often, but I could go home a lot of different weekends as opposed to just going home once a month and see those people. And I still go out and eat dinner with them sometimes, and we talk about what's happening in their life and like what colleges or schools they might want to go to, and like just how school's going, or just like any problems that they're having or things like that. So it was the people for me that was the hardest to leave, but it's been okay so far.
Awesome. Did anyone have any other questions for the panelists? Making sure I didn't miss any in the chat. Okay. I think we covered any questions. Any other additional questions anyone wants to ask? Oh, thank you. Is there any additional things that you all would like to add to let our folks know, or? Well, all right. I think we're done with our portion.
Well, Elise and Gatton students, let me thank you ever so much for being here. I want to add just one bit of information for those who are on this update with us today. Please know that every student who comes to Gatton remains duly enrolled in your school, the high school, which is we call their sending school, and that the students will take the state assessment and their scores go back to your school. Please know that the funding, the daily funding, remains in your school for those students. So local schools don't lose. Instead, they gain the opportunity to provide a learning experience that's a little more challenging than what most of our high schools can provide. And I think these 4 students have done a marvelous job of sharing with you highlights for them, the difficulties of leaving, and what they've gained from an opportunity to do university work during their last 2 years of high school. And they only take college classes, and each will graduate with a minimum of 60 university hours and a high school diploma. Some of them will have 70 hours, and a few of them will even have more than that. I am always so proud of the students who are willing to share what's happening with them. And thank you all for being a part of our special day, the Gifted Education Update. Thank you.